It's time for Good Energy, and I'm Dr. Julie at Endeavor Health and Chiropractic. And today we're talking about how to identify the cause and not keep tripping over the symptoms as you work toward your healing goal. Many of us have been there. Maybe we're trying to exercise more, and we've learned all the little tips and tidbits. You can sleep in your workout clothes. You can walk a number of steps. You can use your Apple Watch to make sure you close all the circles. But no matter how you try, and you use different triggers and different approaches and different hacks, you end up stuck back under the covers, and another day has gone past and you haven't moved. And so all of those little things work well until they don't, and now you're in this same pattern. How do you move out of that? How do you figure out how to make yourself an exerciser? Or how do you figure out how to make yourself a healthy eater? There are a lot of things that we can work on with our health goals, but sometimes we get to a point where it's just really hard to get past that. I was listening to a podcast recently with an author, podcast writer. She's actually a wealth coach, an abundance coach actually. Her name is Lisa Peterson, and she was talking about the fact that our patterns that we keep getting stuck in, not being able to get up and exercise, are hidden by our beliefs. Our belief that we can't exercise because we're not consistent. We just are not a consistent person. Or that we can't lose weight because we just don't have self-control. These beliefs hold us back because you compare yourself to other people and you say, I obviously can't be like this other successful person. That is just something that I can't do. I've tried multiple times and I can't get there. So there's obviously something wrong with me. I'm just going to go with it and try another hack and see if I can get past it in a different way. But you're going to fall into the same pattern, because the way we get past these limiting beliefs, the way we get past the idea that you can't do this, is to examine the emotions that are associated with it, examine the emotions and how they are triggered. And in examining the emotion, you can identify whether that belief is real or not. Lisa Peterson has a 3-step process. I've tweaked it a little bit because I kind of like the way I've described it, but I'm going to use her ideas, but then tell you how I think it works a little bit better. So let's say it is the morning, and you have decided, just for the fun of it, let's say it's January 1st, and you have decided that you are going to exercise every day this year, or maybe 5 times a week this year. And it is, you've gotten to January 5th, and you've exercised 5 days, and you're like, I could take a couple of days off. And you get to January 8th, and you've taken a couple of days off, and you woke up in the morning, you have your exercise gear on, you have your shoes by your bed, and instead you roll over and go back to sleep, sort of. And you're like, you know what, that's the first part of me not doing 5 days in a row, or 5 days a week. And you're like, I've kind of stepped into that pattern. And most of the time when we return to a pattern that we know is not good, we have a tendency to run away. We run away, we hide, we close off that part of us. I am not a healthy eater. I am not a consistent exerciser. I am not somebody who pays attention to their body in order to make correct choices. You put that wall back up and you hide from it for a while. Lisa Peterson talks about this differently. She says you need to accept the package, acknowledge the delivery. You've seen this pattern before. And I even want you to not even think about it as a package. I want you to think about it as a gift. You have been given a gift. You have stepped off the path again. But it's a gift. You just realized that you did something that you've been doing all of your life. Take it as a gift. Accept that gift. You've been given a pattern that is a negative pattern that you haven't been able to get out of, and you've just been given it now. Instead of running away, jump into it. Say, yes, I can receive that package. I can open it up. Well, the next thing you obviously want to do. So it's going to be scary. There's going to be a lot of emotions in there. You're going to want to push back and say, I'm not that person. I just can't get this done. But if you receive the package and understand that it is a teaching and that it is something awesome that you can dig into and then get rid of or learn from, then you're going to move a lot faster through the stages of healing and figuring out what is causing you from not achieving your goals. So the first part, accept the gift. It sometimes takes a big breath, sometimes takes a glass of wine. You know, you're like, oh, I didn't exercise again. Maybe tonight I just need to sit down with my journal and a glass of wine and figure out what this gift is. The second is to receive the teachings. That's what Lisa Peterson calls it. I'm going to say, let's open that gift. Receiving the teachings is opening the gift. Just like in a gift, when you receive it and you open it up, you've got the outside paper, you've got the box, you've got the tissue paper. You know, some places they put like 6 or 7 layers of tissue paper, and then you have the gift itself. So one of the things you can do, you've got your glass of wine or whatever else makes you feel good and will reward you for going into this gift. One of the things you can do is you can journal. You can start digging into the layers. And so you can start with, well, why didn't you exercise this morning? Well, because I was too tired. And if you write out too tired, then you might starting to get yourself into the emotions where you might say, well, no, I'm just lazy. I'm always lazy. I always start this process and I can never finish it. And when I do, it makes me feel crappy. It makes me feel sad. And I think, I'm going to die because I'm not exercising the way I should. And all of these layers, as you dig into them, there are emotions. And the deeper you get into those emotions, the emotions are the amazing thing. Because once you dig into the emotions are going to start triggering your memories. Back in the day, the only academic paper I've ever published is a paper on memory, and it's about source monitoring. Really complicated idea, but the idea is that when you step outside of a room and you're trying to remember something, when you step past the threshold, it is very hard to remember it and get it back. So that's why we always walk back into the room, because we created the memory in that room. Like, make sure you grab X in that room, but as soon as you step out, the actual act of stepping outside that room makes the memory less easily accessible. So, fantastic little tidbit. Now we think about why you've done a pattern. Well, that pattern, you've never sat in the emotion of where that pattern came from. But if you go back to the source, which is that emotion, feeling crappy and sad and feeling like you're going to die, all of a sudden that emotion is your source code for the original memory. Where did it come from? Where did this idea that you can't exercise consistently come from? And all of a sudden, ping, this light goes off. And you remember that in 6th grade, your PE teacher, you were doing those stupid presidential fitness things, and your PE teacher was having a terribly grumpy day, and he looked at you and he said, my goodness, you are never going to be you're never going to survive this because you can't exercise in a consistent way, and it's going to be the death of you. Hey, there it is. When you were in 6th grade, your PE teacher made you connect fitness with death. How dumb. You can start thinking about how dumb can you be? How dumb could the 6th grade version of you be? But your 6th grade version of yourself just made a connection between fitness and death. And so now, of course, you're not going to be consistent, because after a while, that 6th grade version of you is going to bubble up and say, no, it's going to be the death of you. Go away. But here's the fun part. After you have unwrapped those layers of your gift, Lisa Peterson talks about integrating it. You can now learn from it. You can now use your gift. You can now say to that 6th grade version of you, you know what? Part of the reason why you created this link between exercise and death was because a grumpy old PE teacher kept on pushing you and telling you that if you don't exercise, you're going to die, or that it's going to be the death of you, that you can't exercise. And that 6th grade version of you made that connection in order to survive that class. But you can now use this gift and you can say, hey, when I wake up in the morning, I know that I have a choice between allowing the 6th grade version of me to make a choice to not exercise, or I can actually analyze the situation and say, hey, is this the 6th grade version of me, or do I really need the sleep? Because part of the problem, part of the issue with using the healing equation is that we carry a lot of baggage with us. We carry a lot of gifts with us, and we don't always open them. And when you open a gift, which has been an underlying unconscious stressor for so long, it cracks that open. And I had a fantastic experience yesterday where I was working with a patient in the office, and we cracked open one of her stressors, energetic, with the energy work that we were doing. And her field, her energy to heal just immediately expanded. And it was amazing because we had moved one of these stressors to a good energy in. We had opened up the package and given her the gift. So when you have a pattern that you can't seem to get past, when you have a pattern that you keep going back to, sometimes you need to, instead of beating yourself up about the pattern, take it as a gift. Open it up. See the layers of it. Use this concept of source monitoring, of memory for what the emotion. Use that emotion as a pathway to your memory for where you started that connection. And once you get to that point, you can analyze it and decide, do I need it anymore? If you don't need it anymore, if it's not serving you, let it go. And you will find that your energy to heal has just expanded immensely. It's a big thing. It is not simple. A journal, a glass of wine, a good friend, a cup of coffee, meditation, prayer, some place for you to just sit with that gift. You're going to want to run away. Everybody wants to run away for the gift. But if you sit with it, you're going to find some amazing energy in there. And so today, take a couple of seconds. Love yourself, remember. Obviously, in simplicity, lightheartedness, and love, healing occurs. So remember that what you do today, if it's annoying and stressful, it's a gift. If you have a few seconds, stop in, see if you can open it up. All right. So don't forget that I've got more messages like this for women, sort of women focused on the healing equation. Go ahead and check it out on Facebook. Ask to join, and you can come in and work on a couple of other things, more female-centric, more female-oriented. We still have Good Vibe Wednesdays, and obviously this video. If you have friends that are interested in Endeavor Health and Chiropractic, send them to the Facebook page. You can also send them to my webpage, which is www.endeavorhealthandchiropractic.com. So www.endeavorhealthandchiropractic.com, where various information is put up there, also how to schedule in the office. And if you have any comments, concerns, or just want to join in a conversation about this video, please do that in the comments section. Until next week, take care and have a great, great weekend. Bye.